Hello and welcome back to the Allan Kardec USA channel, where we discuss the doctrine of Spiritism as codified in his writings by Allan Kardec. This gentleman that you see here is Neil deGrasse Tyson. You have probably seen him many times before because he has been all over social media and doing television interviews and presentations. deGrasse Tyson is an astrophysicist, a scientist who is very much involved in studying everything in our universe, the sun, the stars, other galaxies, and its relations with Earth and with nature. In a moment, I'm going to show you a short video clip of Neil deGrasse Tyson speaking about the existence of God. Or, perhaps better said, how there is no proof of God currently. First, however, let me tell you that deGrasse Tyson does not consider himself an atheist. He refers to himself as an agnostic. So, what is the difference? An atheist is someone who faithfully believes that any type of God does not exist, that there is no such thing as a creator, a powerful force of knowledge that made everything, that everything we see was formed by chance. An agnostic is someone saying, I don't know. Maybe there is a God, maybe there isn't. I just haven't seen proof of it yet. That's an agnostic, which is a bit mind-boggling because, as Allan Kardec's The Spiritist book tells you right near the start, that all you have to do to realize the existence of God is to look around you. And logic tells you something scientists have all stated themselves, that something could not have been created from nothing. It's the scientific laws of cause and effect, something that I have discussed several times in previous videos. Here in Allan Kardec's note, following a response from a higher spirit, he writes, "To believe in God, we need only to behold the works of creation. The universe exists. Therefore, it must have a cause. To doubt God's existence would be to deny that every effect has a cause, and to believe that something could have resulted from nothingness." Anyway, like I said, that is a subject I have covered in previous videos. So I recommend you have a look at my video on what exactly is God. And regarding how it is that everything we see was made, including the universe, stars, planets, and everything here on Earth, I suggest the video on creation of the universe and life. Let's listen now to a clip from Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Do you believe in God?
Me?
Creator?
Yeah, so I'm, the more I look at the universe, just the less convinced I am. So if your concept of a creator is someone who's all powerful and all good, that's not an uncommon pairing of powers that you might ascribe to a creator. All powerful and all good. And I look at disasters that afflict Earth and life on Earth. Volcanoes, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, disease, pestilence, congenital birth defects. You look at this list of ways that life is made miserable on Earth by natural causes. And I just ask, how do you deal with that? So philosophers rose up and said, if there is a God, God is either not all powerful or not all good.
In this video, deGrasse Tyson asks the question, how do you deal with that? In other words, how do you explain it? You know, deGrasse Tyson has repeated these lines about disasters, birth defects, disease, and all kinds of human misery and calamity in several interviews when asked about the existence of God. And the first time I heard it, I had the thought, if any other spiritists are hearing this, they will be saying, well, obviously, deGrasse Tyson has not read the works of Allan Kardec. Because if he had, he would understand why human suffering is necessary. He would know then why God must allow such misery. deGrasse Tyson also states that our concept of a great creator is one that is all powerful and all good. I'm not so sure all good is the proper term. I think it might be better to say all just or all fair and all powerful. Because God, as the creator, is in fact all powerful. There is nothing God can't do. But it is also a fact that not even God will go against the laws of nature that God established, something I have also stated before. That means that God won't allow what we understand as scientific impossibilities. God is not going to allow, for example, dead humans that are now bones and ashes of the earth to rise in resurrections, because we know that to be a natural impossibility. So resurrection, when seen in scriptures, must obviously be referring to reincarnation. If we look at God as all good, despite the great human misery we endure on this planet, it is because God is helping us to improve and progress. Remember that your real life is not your human life. It is your spirit's life, a life that is eternal. When you see thousands of human beings killed by earthquakes, floods, wars, disease, we must go back to finding a logical reason why we must endure this. It all goes back to the progression of our soul. In another video, I did also cover this, why we must reincarnate. When you see little innocent babies that have lost their lives to natural disasters or other unfortunate calamity, you have to remember that the baby might have been just days or weeks old, but that baby you are looking at may contain a soul, a spirit, that has lived 100 previous lifetimes. That soul or spirit of that baby might be 1,000 years old or more in our system of calculating years. And you have to wonder, why would God allow a baby to be born and then remove him or her so quickly? What could it have possibly learned to progress its soul? Well, that soul, which is now a spirit in the spirit world, does feel the gravity of the situation. It does understand the karma it just went through for its actions in previous lives. And that spirit has learned a valuable lesson, which will help that spirit to improve and progress. In the Spirit's book, there is an entire chapter called The Law of Destruction. And in that chapter, there is a section called Destructive Calamities. Let's read a little from that section. In question number 737, Allan Kardec asks the higher spirits the following: for what purpose does God inflict humankind with destructive calamities? And the spirit replies, to impel them to progress more quickly. Haven't we stated that destruction is necessary for the moral regeneration of spirits who accomplish a new degree of perfection during each new existence? You must see the end in order to appreciate the results. You only judge such things from your own personal point of view, and you regard such afflictions as calamities because of the injury they cause you. However, these hardships are often necessary in order to make things arrive at a better order more quickly, and to accomplish in a few years what would otherwise require many centuries. A little further down in question number 740, Kardec asks, couldn't calamities also be moral trials for humankind by exposing humans to the most afflictive needs? And the Spirit responds. Calamities are trials that furnish humans with an opportunity to exert their intelligence and to demonstrate their patience and resignation before the will of God. At the same time, calamities enable them to develop the sentiments of self-denial, self-detachment, and love for their neighbor, if they are not dominated by selfishness. And we will read one more in the following question, number 741. May we avert, can we stop, the calamities that afflict us? And the Spirit responds, yes, in part, but not as is generally supposed. Many calamities are the consequences of your own improvidence. As you acquire knowledge and experience, you become able to avert them. That is, to prevent them if you know how to study their causes. Among the ills that afflict humankind, however, there are those of a general nature that belong to the designs of providence, and from which all individuals receive, in a greater or lesser proportion, the share for which they are responsible. They can do nothing about these except resign themselves to God's will. But even these ills are usually aggravated by human carelessness. This is followed by a note from Kardec where he clarifies the Spirit's response. Among the destructive calamities that are natural and independent of human actions, we find plagues, famine, floods, and the inclement weather conditions that are fatal to the productions of the earth. But in science, in works of art, in improvements of agriculture, in crop rotation and irrigation, and in the study of hygienic conditions, has not humankind found the means to neutralize or at least mitigate such disasters? Aren't certain regions that were formerly devastated by terrible calamities protected nowadays? Therefore, what will humankind not accomplish for their material well-being when they know how to make use of all the resources of their intelligence, and when, caring for their own self-preservation, they know how to ally it with the sentiment of true charity for their fellow beings? Going back to the existence of God, in another interview, deGrasse Tyson was asked by the interviewer, well, something must have put all this here, the universe and everything in it, clearly pointing to how there must be a great creator we call God. And deGrasse Tyson responded, okay, but then where did God come from? To answer that question, we can see logically that the universe is eternal. It must go on forever and ever, because if you reach the end of the universe, then what's on the other side? The concept of eternity is very difficult to digest. How can anything be eternal? How can anything go on forever? Well, the same way that the universe is eternal, so is God. God was always there. Please be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you're alerted when the next video comes out. You may also share your comments below, or if you would like to write to me personally, I can be reached at kardecusa@gmail.com. Take care and have a blessed day.